The future to come in 20 to 30 years. Can it be predicted in the times of global uncertainty? How to map out the contours of the future so that they are more clear and bright. And what can be done by those who are today called the new generation?
Today in release, Dinara Sharanova, Askat Yerkembay, New Faces of New Kazakhstan.
Many people are concerned of, what will the others say about this? But if you think that you are in the right and it will be useful and helpful for others, and then make all efforts to achieve your goal.
Думала, что это будет просто конференция, как очередная, да, но нет. Тут меня ожидал нечто другое.
Today, all young people, man, can realize the most audacious projects owing to their knowledge and proactive attitude. And if they precisely estimate their potentials and capabilities, their choice will be the right one, and such jobs will satisfy them.
I
was born in Russia, in the capital city of Kalymkia, Ilisia city. My father is a Kalim. My mother is a Kazakh. My parents worked and studied there. Then they all moved to Shymkent, where my mother's parents lived.
I was born in the Karaganda region, in the Zhizdi district village, where all people are relating to the mining activities. My parents and all my brothers, they all worked in the mine. We were growing up, and being a kid, we all knew all the miners' terms. Closure of the mine caused unemployment around, therefore my family moved to the Satpayev town. I liked reading from being a kid. We were delivered the Children National newspaper Ulan every week. I started writing articles for this newspaper. Once I wrote an article, Who Can Be Considered as the Citizen? It was published on the front page. After this publication, the school principal appeared in my mathematics class and harshly asked, "Who is Askat Yerkembayev?" I thought, the game is up. They would shout at me as I was criticizing in my article. I got up, then the school principal says, "Why do you study in B class? You should study in the A class." In the next term, I was already in the A class. This story made me think. It appears life can be changed easily using the journalist's stylus. But if I can change my life, this means I can change others' lives and help them somehow.
Askat Yerkembay is a founder of the Kazakh version of the blog, Bachelor of Kazakh Language and Kazakh Literature. Askat has a master's degree in journalism after studying at the University of Wyoming in the United States. Today he is a teacher in the university named after Süleyman Demirel and chairman of Minbir Journalist Support Public Center.
I'll think about it. I can't promise it now.
After school graduation, she entered our local university, South Kazakhstan State University, named after Mukhtar Awezov. It was a Department of Legal Studies and International Relations. We had a youth public association. It was called the Alliance of Students of Kazakhstan. I was a leader there. It was a great and helpful experience for me. First of all, try and test yourself for developing your capabilities and increasing the leadership skills. If you start doing my job, study it well and thoroughly, then finish it completely. While studying in the university, I participated in the program arranged by the U.S. Embassy. It was a 2-year micro-scholarship for studying English and culture of the other countries. Training and accommodation in the U.S. was provided free of charge. Thus, I learned English for 2 years.
Dinara Sharanova is 26 years old. Her piggyback has an experience of working as a youth ambassador in Switzerland, Austria, and Serbia. Today, Donata Saranova is the manager of the Investor Support Department in the Shymkent Social Entrepreneurship Corporation, SEC. She has 2 higher education degrees, a bachelor's and master's degree, certificate of the best graduate of the Russian University of People's Friendship.
After graduating from university and receiving a diploma, I got a job in a big company. I would not hide that some people here in Shymkent think that money talks, money rules the world, and that the high prestige work can be found owning to money only. My personal case has been the opposite.
After school graduation, I did not go to the journalism department, and a reason was very simple. There were only 20 educational grants provided to this specialty. I received an educational grant for studying at the Department of Kazakh Language and Literature in the Zhezkazgan University, named after Omerkhan Baykonurov. Then she transferred to Almaty to the Teachers University named after Abay, where she studied at 3rd, 4th, and 5th courses. I studied in the university, and at the same time I worked in the newspaper. At that time, the Almaty political life was seething. It caused the emerging of various political parties and issuing of new newspapers.
At some point, I realized I need new skills and knowledge, so I decided to have an additional education. There was a double diploma program in the South Kazakhstan State University. One diploma would be the Russian, another diploma would be the Kazakhstani. I went to Moscow for entering to the People's Friendship University of Russia. The first year of the master's program, I studied in Moscow. The second year, I studied in Kazakhstan. These years were the most interesting and generous for me. In 2013, when I arrived to Moscow, I forwarded an application for participating in the competition for visiting the OSCE mission in Warsaw City. They approved my application and invited me to Warsaw City. When I lived in Moscow, I often visited Warsaw City. A competition among 57 OSCE member countries started sometime later. I was chosen on behalf of Kazakhstan. Finally, I was representing my country as a youth ambassador for 1.5 years. We have developed a special youth legislation under this program. In Basel, Switzerland, our project was supported by 57 ministers of OSCE countries. They even invented the project name. We were frequently visiting Switzerland, Siberia, and Austria for business reasons. At the same time, I worked for Kazakhstani embassy in Moscow and a trainee in the economics department. I wanted to make the best use of gaining experience.
I studied in the university and worked as the deputy chief editor, as the executive secretary. Afterwards, I occupied other major and senior positions in the newspapers and on radio. Back at that time, I got to the point that even being the chief executive in any newspaper, I would have to obey somebody and depend on other viewpoints, and I did not desire such a future for me. I was the first of my colleagues to win the International UN Scholarship for Journalists and went to New York City. I was lucky to be one of those studying in this program in the Columbia University. By the way, there are only 27 people like me in New York from different countries. Professor of the Columbia University told us about how new media and showed what the blog is all about. In 3 minutes, he taught us to register a blog. I remember asking him, "Professor, can this be done in any other language?" At that time, everybody was using the Windows computers. If you remember, a document forwarded from one computer to another failed to open, and you saw it in the form of strange small squares. At that time, Kazakhstan had just started implementing the Kazakh language in the software. I told all this to my professor. I saw with my own eyes him opening a blog in Kazakh in 3 minutes. Then I told him, as soon as I return to Kazakhstan from Manhattan, New York, I will immediately start explaining to our journalists about the new type of media in Kazakh. I thought if we Kazakh-speaking journalists master this media, our media will be one step ahead.
Және қосып қойырсың. Қазақстан Республикасының ақпаратқа қол жеткізу заңы бойынша сіз маған бұны бір апта ішінде беру керексіз. Точка.
Қайтып келгеннен кейін Шымкентке мен біраз уақыт жұмыс таба алмай жүрдім.
After my return to Shymkent, I could not find a job for a while. It was a tough time for me, as if I lost myself. By that time, I managed to visit different countries, see all the richness of their cultures and values. That's why, in the very beginning, I had to adapt again to the Kazakh realities. For example, for living in conditions where my Shymkent city lives. I had a chance to stay in Russia, in Moscow, but I decided to come home. No regrets, not a bit. I believe I made the right choice. I have to make a fair share of contribution to make my hometown better and rise higher in a way. For this, I can use all opportunities I have now. That's why I returned to Shymkent.
To explain what a blog is, I wrote an article in the newspaper Ana Tili, or Mother Tongue. Proofreader corrected the word blog to block, as at that time nobody was aware of the term blog. I invited 4 or 5 friends and explained how to open a blog. I joined the famous Kazakh journalist Yesingul Kapkizi. At that time, she worked for the Turkestan newspaper, and we have established the Minber non-governmental organization, Kazakh Journalist Support Center. Then I left for America to continue my education on the master's degree program. I won a 2-year scholarship. I studied the science of communication in the University of Wyoming. I studied everything relating to the new types of media. There I understood it was my luck and finally got good fortune, and good luck rules it all. I was blessed to catch these royal honors to study overseas in the other country for 2 years. I was an ordinary country bumpkin, son of a simple miner. And this would be nice to share this opportunity with others. This idea followed me everywhere, and at that time I worked in the Kazakh National University. Finally played my hand to make the University of Wyoming sign a memorandum of understanding with the Al-Farabi University. Currently, many students of the Kazakh National University have a chance to study in this U.S. university.
I completed for training of the human resources in Kazakhstan. This program was arranged and powered by Jaz Otan, youth sector in Astana city. We gained a tremendous experience. We were taught and explained about the particular characteristics of the state service, about the difficulties arising and prospects for advancement.
After coming home, I started looking for a job with a chance of teaching English. I was welcomed to Süleyman Demirel University. Today I'm teaching their students about media skills. I teach the basics of the multimedia internet resources and data journalism.
And I will think carefully. Shall I do it group or individual? I'll think about it.
I like our university atmosphere. We are full of a spirit of freedom and trust between the student and the teacher, the university management and teachers. That's why we are happy to work here.
Today I work for Shymkent Social Entrepreneurship Cooperation. I'm the cooperation manager of the Investor Support Department. Besides my major occupation, I am involved in the public affairs. I am the leader in the Youth Association. We have opened a special medical room for the infantile cerebral paralysis kids and patients with other disorders. This is the first direction. The second direction is preparation of the junior school children for the mathematics competition.
In the Soviet times, they practiced the principle of, you are a student, I am the master. For the student, this principle did not tolerate to write for mistakes. But my students will have this right if I come and say, I am here to share my skills and knowledge. That's why I never tell them that I am their master. To do something good, age is not an obstacle. You can make a discovery at 90 years old, and without realizing it, a 5-year-old can come up with something creative.
In 2018, there will be the 10th anniversary of Kazakhstani project Youth Human Resources. This project was initiated by Nursultan Nazarbayev, the President of the Republic of Kazakhstan. The project objective is to form the new generation of the modern and efficient executives and managers, those to advance and improve their professional and leadership skills. Such people as Dinara Sharanova and Askat Yirkenbay.